The party in Vang Vieng is over. Not long ago, this area was teeming with young foreigners.
Every day have about 200 until 300 people in the restaurant.
Drinking and partying.
And party, yeah.
Now nothing.
Now nothing. Closed already.
Mr. Ko from the Tourism Authority has been watching the crackdown closely.
เพราะว่าระยะผ่านมาเนาะที่ว่าปรากฏการณ์ย่อท่อมันเกิดขึ้นหลายเกี่ยวกับนักท่องเที่ยวว่าเรื่องการดื่มเหล้าเมาแล้วก็เฮ็ดให้เขาเจ้าฉะนั้นภาคและรัฐบาลของพวกเขาเห็นได้ถึงว่าความจำเป็นแล้วก็ความสำคัญที่ว่าติดพันกับการท่องเที่ยวนี้เพิ่นจึงได้ให้หยุดเกี่ยวกับอาหาร
The bars, rope swings, jumping platforms and flying foxes that used to line the banks are all gone. As are the thousands of backpackers who once descended on this sleepy town to party like there was no tomorrow. At its height, only a few months ago, the scene on the river was extraordinary. In riverside bars dotted along the tubing route, the young crowd left their cares behind. Much of it was fueled with free shots of local rice whiskey.
They give whiskey out for free and then send you off like a 10-foot jump. Real smart.
Some of the contraptions were dangerous, even for the sober. None would have passed any stringent safety tests. Injuries were common.
Coughed up a little bit of blood, trying to wash it down.
Despite the backpacker bravado, many lives have been lost here. Just this year, 2 Australians died within the space of a month. The Laos government decided it was time to act. This is all that's left of the infamous big slide, which stretched out over the river. The crackdown has dealt a blow to both the party animals and to the businesses that grew up to service them. Now there's only a trickle of customers at the tube rental shop.
It is a bit devastating because we planned to come here and have a fucking amazing time. Excuse my French.
Backpackers are still coming for the tubing and still managing to find a drink on the river. But Vang Vieng is a whole lot quieter than it used to be.
2 months ago, this place was a den of inequity. 18 to 24-year-old backpackers from Oz, New Zealand, Europe, everywhere. Just fucking crazy.
But you've obviously had a few beers as well?
Oh, today? Shit, man. I've been drinking since 10.
I'm still alive, guys. Now it's safer and maybe not as much fun, but it's more relaxing. You don't need to get too drunk.
Even though it is low season, the economic knock-on effect of the crackdown is already severe. Business owners are worried about the future, but because no one really knows what the government has in mind, they're reluctant to speak on camera. It's a problem, no?
Yes, problem.
So many
big problem in Vang Vieng now.
For businesses.
Yes. Sure.
Many people worried.
Yes, many people worry. All people.
บริการบ่ถูกตามใบอนุญาตฉะนั้นมันผิดกับระเบียบการท่องเที่ยวเนาะฉะนั้น
The deputy head of Vang Vieng's tourism authority places the blame squarely on the owners of the bars along the river for serving drugs and alcohol.
ถ้าบ่รับผิดชอบก็ถือว่าเป็นภาระของรัฐบาลเนาะจึงเฮ็ดให้มีการสั่งปิด
So who is suffering at the moment then?
I think most people are.
Steve Sampson has watched Vang Vieng go from boom to bust. The Perth native has run the Aussie bar in the middle of town for more than 4 years. He's frustrated at the government's heavy-handed response.
Last year, they could have stopped half the deaths if they suddenly brought in control, which they didn't. If they used their brains and controlled it, then we'd have no problems here. All the Lao people would be happy because they're making money. There's a lot of rich Lao people in here now.
But many here are happy to see the back of the rowdy backpackers.
บ่ให้เขาเจ้าให้กินมึนเมาแบบเฮฮาแล้วจะเป็นการเสียภาพพจน์ของเฮาละ
These tourism trainees would much rather the focus was on more enlightening holiday pursuits.
จะเป็นการแบบบ่แบบนับถือวัฒนธรรมของวังเวียงเลยเนาะฉะนั้นอันแบบคือพวกเฮาเป็นนักเรียนมาฝึกงานสิเนาะเฮาก็อย่ามาเฮ็ดเวียกเกี่ยวกับการท่องเที่ยวแน่แล้วก็อย่าแบบเผยแพร่วัฒนธรรมให้เขาเจ้ามาท่องเที่ยวของวังเวียงนี่เฮาก็ต้องรักษาประเพณี
Buddhism is central to life in Laos.
เจ้าก็มาล่าแต่ว่าเจ้าบ่ฮู้ลักษณะการนุ่งการถือก็มีหลายลักษณะคันสิเว้าต่างประเทศก็บ่คือคนลาวก็นุ่งแบบบ่ผู้หญิงก็นุ่งสิ้นเนาะหลายอย่างไปแต่ก็คันต่างประเทศมันก็บ่สามารถสิเว้าได้แต่ว่าเรื่องการนุ่งถือเนาะบางครั้งก็บ่เป็นปกติบ่ได้เนาะ
One of the concerns here is clearly the influence of backpacker morality on the local youth. There are signs around town asking tourists to dress modestly.
Thank you. Have a look. Take a good look.
Well, what do you think about that?
I started with a t-shirt.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It gets hot. You're in the water. No, come on. I genuinely believe that they don't mind.
I'm going to get stoned out of my tree.
The social impact of a wave of hedonists descending on this traditional and conservative place has been so dramatic, people now come here to study it. I meet an anthropology student who agrees to talk as long as he remains anonymous.
I have seen people having sex on the tubes down the river, while banks of the river are crowded with little local kids. I've seen very recently, just a few days ago, a guy walking without any short, anything down there. He was showing everything to everyone.
He's been seriously threatened once before for asking too many questions about the dark side of Vang Vieng.
The drugs are brought to the bars by the police most of the time, or by intermediaries, and so then the drugs will be sold to tourists.
He's not the only one who tells me the police play a role in the drug trade that's fueled the Vang Vieng party. That's why the restaurants were able to spell it out so clearly on their menus.
Yeah, I've tried my way through most of it.
One night, an Australian man tells me he'd just been caught by police smoking marijuana with a group of friends. It cost them $600 each to stay out of jail. Today's annual boat race is a chance for Vang Vieng locals to put their concerns aside for the day. It's no wonder the foreign hedonists fit in here. The Lao people certainly know how to throw a drunken party. But the excitement of the race and these festivities aside, some say their town has already lost its mojo.
ม่วนคือเก่าละตอนกระเจ้ายังอยู่ถือว่าม่วนแล้วกระเจ้าบ่อยู่กระเจ้าปิดบ้านนี่คือว่าบ่ม่วนบ่มีความที่ว่านั้น
I would definitely still come and tube down the river for fun or kayak because
So there's no reason for tourists not to come here now then?
no, and if you really want to drink you can grab a couple of beers and do it a bit more sensibly.
Last night it was good, the night before was brilliant, dressed up as women.
What did the locals think of that?
They loved it. Yeah, no. Everyone's so happy here all
Everyone's
the time.
happy.
แต่ว่าก็เบิ่งแต่เฉพาะนี้หาเฉพาะหน้านะถ้าว่าเฮามีการคุ้มครองที่ดีเกี่ยวกับการคุ้มครองอาหารเฮือนพักหรือว่าแหล่งท่องเที่ยวต่างๆมัน ก็จะเฮ็ดให้การท่องเที่ยวนี่สามารถเข้มแข็งแล้วก็ยืนยงไปได้ตลอดเนาะ
Steve at the Aussie bar is optimistic too that Vang Vieng will return to its former glory as Party Central.
I'd say give it another 2 months and it'll be back to 80% what it was last year. It probably won't. Another year's time, then it'll go back. It'll probably get bigger and bigger.
The only difference being the swings and the slides and the kind of some of the excess on the river will be a bit calmer.
Yeah. Once they control it properly, the tourists will come back.